Okay, we are doing least common multiple, greatest common factor, and simplifying fractions all in one notes. Now here's the thing, we've been kind of doing this already this year because when we were having to add and subtract fractions, we had to find common denominators where we were looking for least common multiples. And then when we were simplifying, we were dividing by the greatest common factor. So this is going to be quite a review, like a review. So let's start with highlighting my statements that I can determine the greatest common factor of two or more numbers. I can determine the least common multiple of two or more numbers, and then I can simplify fractions using the greatest common factor. So some vocabulary to know: multiples are what you get when you multiply a number by a whole number. Okay, common multiples are multiples that are common for two or more numbers. Okay, and then least common multiple is the smallest of all the common multiples. Okay, so what we're going to do right here is we're going to circle all the common multiples of 3 and 4. So 3 and 4, what number? Oh, they share 12. Okay, let's see. They share 24. And that's it. Right here they share. So, but the least common multiple is the smallest one they share, which in this case is 12. Okay? Now let's practice this. We're going to do similar to what the table has up there. So I'm going to start with 6 and 8. I'm going to write 6 and 8, and then I'm going to start writing out the multiples. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. Now, I did tell you during topic 1 when we're looking for multiples, don't go crazy far out because you could go on forever with multiples. So let's do some for 8. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. So remember here, I said when you hit that common multiple, stop. Stop. Don't waste your time. And there it is. So what about this? We do 3 and 10. 3 and 10. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Okay. And then I have 10, 20, 30. So the least common multiple of 3 and 10 is 30. And here's two you do's. You're going to do these two on your own, just like I modeled with my I do and my we do. So if you are not with me and you need to do these, or if you're doing them in class, I'm not here, I don't know. You need to do the least common multiple of 2 and 5, and then 4 and 9, just like I modeled it here. Okay? Go to the next page. Okay, factor. Now, switching gears to factors. Factors are numbers that can evenly go into another number. And then common factors are factors that are in common for 2 or more numbers. Okay? But the greatest common factor is the largest of all the common factors. So we're going to go opposite of least common multiple. So let's practice. So we're going to find look at me getting all my words mixed up. Find the greatest common factor. So I'm going to write 12, and I'm going to write 16, and I'm going to list the factors, the numbers that go into it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Now, I do this a lot, so that's why I could put them in order. I recommend that you try to get them in order so that it would be easier to pair up the factors, okay? So 16 is 1 and 16. What else? 2 and 8, but also 4, okay? Because 4 times 4 is 16. So again, writing down all the factors, the numbers that go into them, and then try to put them in order from least to greatest so that you can identify the greatest, the biggest one that they share. So if I were to circle all the factors that they share, okay, but I want to identify the greatest one they share, and that would be 4. So I'm just going to highlight my 4s only. So here's my we do 15 and 60. Now, as your numbers get bigger, always consider the smaller number to be a factor of the larger number. So 15, I have 1 and 15, 1, 2, 3, and 5, and I have 15. Okay. 60, there are a lot of factors of 60. So let's start thinking. 1, 60 divided by 2 is 30. What about 3 goes into it? 4 goes into it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is kind of, I like to call this my rainbow method because I'm kind of going up, and then this is the middle. This is the middle, 6 and 10. So now I got to ask myself what goes with 6, 5, 5. 5 and 12, 4 and 15, 3 and 20, 2 and 30, 1 and 60. Okay, but what is the biggest one they share? But again, if I go and circle all of the factors that they share, the biggest one is 15. Now, if you were doing TCAP and they wanted you to find the greatest common factor of 2 numbers, and it was, say, like 15 and 60, I would first check if the smaller number in the pair is a factor of the larger number, because if it is, then it's the greatest common factor of both. So these 2 you-dos, I need you to do those on your own, okay? So if you're doing it on your own in class, if I'm not there, or if you're at home, I want to see you find the greatest common factor of this pair and this pair, and you need to do it as I've modeled it here, and then show me when you come back. All right, here's an I do. I love the word problems. Beth takes 5 minutes to make a lap around the field, and Jennifer takes 7 minutes. How many minutes will it take for Beth and Jennifer to be in the same place? So this is where you have to determine, am I doing least common multiple or greatest common factor? So think about it like this. They want to keep going until they're at the same place. So we're increasing. So whenever I'm thinking about increasing, I need to think about least common multiple. I'm multiplying. Okay? So I'm going to list the multiples. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Okay? Let's do 7, 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay? So the question is, how many minutes will it take for Beth and Jennifer to be in the same place again? And so we're thinking about least common multiple, and the first one we hit is 35. So we would say it will take 35 minutes. Okay? Okay, so next one. Sam and Aaron both enter a hot dog eating contest. If Sam takes 12 seconds to eat a hot dog and Aaron takes 15 seconds to eat a hot dog, how many seconds will pass before they both begin eating a hot dog at the same exact time? So when they ask you about passing time, like moving forward, we're thinking about multiples. So we are going to find the least common multiple of 12 and 15. Ooh, 12 times 1 times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me stop right there because I think I found it. 15 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. So, but the question is, how many seconds will pass before they both begin eating a hot dog at the same time? 60 seconds. Do not forget that unit of measurement. So 60 seconds. Okay, next page. Not so bad, huh? So, this I need you to do on your own. Jake can write 1 full page in 12 minutes, and Anna takes 14 minutes. How many minutes will pass before they both are starting a new page at the exact same time? Sounds like another least common multiple. Okay. So here's a quick question. When can you use the greatest common factor? Now we've been doing this all year so far. And of course you can't talk back to me because, we're like, not talking to each other. But we can use it. Here, I'm going to say, how about this? The greatest common factor can be used to simplify fractions. Okay, so here's my I do. So, what's the greatest common factor of 12 and 15? I will say, don't reinvent the wheel. If you already have 12 and 15 somewhere in our notes, we do. So I would go back to my notes right here and just write down the factors. So I'm going to say 12. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. 15. I have 1, 3, 5, and 15. Now, you want to divide both your numerator and your denominator by the greatest common factor. Okay, and we've talked about this a lot. You need it to be the greatest common factor because it has to be simplified to where the greatest common factor of your simplified fraction is 1. Hear me out. So let's see, the greatest common factor they share is actually 3. So I'm dividing both of these by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And how do you know it's simplified? Well, the greatest common factor of 4 and 5 should be 1. So you don't have to do all this, but I'm going to just do this up here. 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 5. So if I wrote the factors out right here, the only factor they should share is 1, and that's what makes it simplified. Let's do this we do. And this really should be reviewed because we've been simplifying fractions with multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting all year. So 8/12. So factors of 8, 1, 2, 4, and 8. And then you already have 12. Just copy what you wrote over there. 1, 3. Nope. What did I forget? Nope. Forgot 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So the greatest common factor of 8 and 12 is 4. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So the simplified is 2/3. So these last 4 you need to do on your own and show me when you're done.